Welcome to the Resilient AF podcast. I'm Alex Fresh.
I'm Amelia Jackson.
And I'm Bennett Knows. We believe everything vibrates at a certain frequency, and we're here to raise the vibration.
You'll hear stories of incredible resilience, manifestation, and what to do when you find that even resilience has a toll.
'Cause a bitch is tired, honey.
Welcome to the podcast. Good morning.
Hi.
Amelia's.
I was vaping in the middle of that. Is it weird that you're sitting right there?
Okay,
You like
cool.
it?
Bennett's sitting in a different spot
Whatever.
than he normally
fine.
does. So we're looking at
Either
the
or.
opposite
It's not going to
direction.
make or break your week.
No.
It's not going to be a pit.
No.
Okay.
Well, what is your peak and pit, Bennett?
My peak this week is my birthday week.
Oh, so exciting.
So with that being said,
So it's on Wednesday?
Wednesday,
Yes,
October 18th.
18th.
I love that.
And I've just been reaping the benefits of the birthday week because a lot of places will give you free food on your birthday. So I've been using those coupons.
So where have you gone?
I've gone to Krispy Kreme.
Yum.
Got 3 free donuts.
Nice.
Denny's free breakfast.
Love that for you.
Auntie
Wait,
Annie's free pretzel.
they do it on your birthday week and not just your birthday?
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I
some people-
didn't know that.
Some people do it like for the month. You can just use it one time in the month.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Starbucks?
I haven't gotten it yet
Okay.
because they
Red-
wait until your birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Starbucks. I need to check my app because I know it's coming. I know
Okay.
it's around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
about
will be
Red
at my-
Robin?
Red Robin. You get free burger.
Ooh,
Right.
that's a good one.
So I will continue to reap the benefits. This
Hell
week.
yeah.
You know what? If I was homeless, I would totally just go around everywhere on my birthday.
Not just your birthday. Just sign up a whole bunch of different accounts.
Oh, well, they'd have to have a phone though,
Cheap
Email.
system.
or an email. Yeah, they could go to the library and do that. Yeah,
That's a
I would do
genius.
that.
Or just
Seriously,
go to
you would
Starbucks and
never
just
be
grab some-
hungry,
or just go to Starbucks and grab somebody's drink or food, that comes up. Yeah, I'm Alan.
and then just run out.
That's what people
People
do.
do that all the time.
No, they don't.
Amelia Rose.
Do they?
Yes, you're so sweet.
I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, people do it. I'm just grabbing this
You're just
food.
grabbing it and going.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's a huge company. Who gives a fuck anyway? So
right.
I
They
mean,
don't-
but like I
they
want
don't
my
care.
shit that I ordered, when I get there.
They don't care either. They're just like, oh, your food's not there. I'll make it now.
I'll make it now. Yeah, and then
So-
it's fresher.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have to wait until it's your birthday. Just go to Starbucks and claim your quote unquote birthday drink now.
Well, we can't say hey Shody because you're tall, but it's your birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey. And you know what? I don't have a pay because it's my birthday week.
Hey.
You can't be mad at me for that either.
Nope.
So
Can't get
Amazing.
upset.
I love that.
Uh-uh.
Okay, so we all have copped out once.
Yep. Oh, you cashed it in today.
it's my
I
birthday
love
week.
that.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
E.
My pit for this week. Okay, and it's kind of like I don't even like talking about it because I don't want to be like one of those pick me girl. Okay, so just see you're rolling your eyes already.
That was Bennett, not me.
Yeah, no, it was definitely Bennett. Exactly. Nobody likes a pick me bitch. So I've been struggling with this for a little while. That's why I didn't say it the first time because I
Spit it
was
out.
like, okay, whatever. Anyway, I've just been feeling real ugly lately, like real, like just yucky. That's been my
Why?
pit. I think because I've been on my period. When I'm on my period, at least, I feel disgusting. So
I don't.
you don't?
No.
Well, I love that for your hormones. My hormones are not like that. They hate me. Yeah.
Well, you're still in your 20s, so I'm in my mid to late 30s, and your period gets easier as you get older. So
Okay.
got a few years on
Because
you.
it's fucking rough right now.
Oh, it was
yeah.
in the 20s.
It's not great.
like I don't have any symptoms.
See, I love that for you.
Yeah, I love that for
I
you
don't.
too.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, but that was my pit. I'm fine. I'm starting to be fine now, though, so it's fine.
Okay. Well, you are beautiful.
See,
no
I
matter
didn't want all that.
if you're on
That's
your
why-
period or not. And you actually pissed me off so much. I'm like, oh my God, stop. She's like, Ken, put a filter on. I'm like, you actually are so freaking pretty with no makeup on. Actually, I prefer you with no makeup on. Like some women are just, naturally beautiful. I just feel like you're the
That's-
most beautiful when you just have a natural face, honestly.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, my peak. So this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it was like the 10th when I realized, I was like, oh my God, October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. How did I not even? And it's because I'm not in like that situation anymore where I have to like focus on domestic violence. Like it's not like relevant in my life anymore whatsoever. And so that like, it was just October for me, you know? And that was like so, that's
love
so
that.
nice.
I do love
you know?
that.
So
That's definitely a peak for
yeah,
sure.
that was a peak.
Yep. And anybody who is in a situation where domestic violence is going on, there is help and you are worthy.
Yep.
And you deserve happiness.
Yeah. And you'll get the fuck out. And that's the thing.
And
is
resilience.
a lot of people, they don't realize that they can get out, and they will get out eventually, because it's something that you think is just that's gonna be your ending. So that was my peak.
Well, I'm glad you got out.
Yeah,
Love
thank
you.
Love you.
I have realized that this week I have not been drinking enough H2O because my pee is kind of, a little bit more yellow than it normally is. I'm really good at usually drinking water, like 100 ounces a day.
Yeah.
And this week has been slacking so much, and I just really need to go to Restore and get hydrated off an IV. And then I'll be good to go for, the day, and then just hopefully get back on track with that. So this is my message to you, to drink some water right now.
Yes,
Go
drink
hydrate.
your water.
That's my pit. Because I feel really bad about myself when I see my pee is yellow. Okay. My peak, you guys, I don't even know if I even want to talk about this
Talk about it.
because, because some ears could be listening that I just would be embarrassed that would be hearing.
Spill it.
But me manifesting Queen Herbie being my best friend is literally almost here in the making. It's like at my mother effing fingertips. And I am not a pick me girl. I attract.
You
Okay.
do.
So manifestation is real. And you guys, if you have listened to the podcast, have heard a little bit about how I manifested giving Queen like a blunt at the show. Well, that happened. She took it out of my hands and I was so excited. She even reposted my video to her story, and she seemed excited to have it. So, and she reposted the story. It was insane.
Exactly.
That
And that
part.
takes effort
I
to
was-
repost a story.
Yeah, and she doesn't repost a lot of people's stories. I was super excited about that. But the story continues because like a couple of years ago, I bought some of her merch, and something was like a wig and her glasses and just some of, her items that she wears that's like classic Queen style. And I haven't worn it yet, but I'm like, OMG, I'm going to be Queen for Halloween, right?
Hell
That's
yeah.
like perfect.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
look like her. I feel like people tell me that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I do my makeup like her and I just wear some clothes like her and start dancing like
Yeah.
her, like,
I
I
could
could
see
be
it.
her stunt
I love
double.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did this video and I messaged her manager and I'm like, yo, you're gonna die when you see my Halloween costume. And he's like, stop. Right. So we were talking for a little bit and then I sent him this video. Or no, he goes, so is this gonna be a secret or can I tell her? I'm like, what? Tell her.
Yeah,
Well, I
hell
wasn't
yeah.
expecting that. I was just telling him that I was gonna be Queen for Halloween. He's like, done. So yeah, Queen knows that I'm gonna be her for Halloween, right?
love
That
so
means you have to kill it.
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna be on her story again. Watch this manifestation happen.
I love
Oh.
that.
So
Ooh,
if y'all don't believe that manifestation is real, I hope you do now.
seriously.
And like I'm telling you right now, she's going to be my best friend. So fast forward, hopefully in like less than a year,
you
Queen,
guys are posting reels together.
and I'm gonna be, sitting in her living room and we're gonna be listening to this podcast right now, and she's
Smoking
like,
a joint
oh my
together. Hell yeah.
Look at this.
Yep, I love that.
yeah. So that was my peak
I
for the
love
week.
that for you.
Thank you. So now it's time for the new game, anti-social social media game,
Yay.
where one of us has to basically, we're going to be dared to do something on social media that's like embarrassing.
One of us could choose something that you have to do, and the other person has to choose who.
Love it. Pick a number 1 through 100. And whoever is the closest to the number that comes up is the person who has to do the dare.
Okay.
The closest.
Whoever's the closest to the number.
Okay. Ready?
I don't know your guys' number, but we'll figure it out. Okay, ready?
63. Mine was 12.
You didn't even give it time to go.
It did. She pressed it.
It went from 53 to 63.
No, it was random. It's a random number generator. Watch.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, don't pick
Okay,
that
no,
one.
so it was 63.
Why? What was your number, Bennett?
What was your number?
Mine was 13.
Mine was 12.
I know, mine was 13.
My number was 77, so I'm the closest.
Oh,
So Bennett has
and then
to
mine
do
was
it.
the second closest, which means that I get to pick
What he's doing.
what he's doing. And then you get to pick Amelia, who
Okay.
he's doing it to on his friends list. So I'm going to pick for you to like someone's entire feed. Amelia, go on your phone, go to Bennett's followers.
Okay.
And then
Oh, and
tell
I
him-
just get to pick.
You get to pick somebody.
Okay. I
So
love
go to
that.
go to somebody who has an open page and see if they have a lot of pictures, right?
'Kay.
And then since you're friends with Bennett, you can see if he likes the picture because most likely you guys are going to be following the same people that like it, blah, blah.
Okay. Okay.
And then I'm going to take a video of him liking all of their entire feed. And then we're going to post that up on social media.
Okay.
Just pick someone that isn't going to be comfortable for him. That's the fun of the game.
Oh, that isn't going to be.
Like, I don't know who that would be.
Like
so.
someone that he, well, how many people does he follow?
He follows 1,000 people. Okay.
Maybe do somebody random, like who he doesn't follow.
Someone who he doesn't follow. Okay, let's do. I'm just gonna do this person right here.
What's
Who?
their at? What's their at?
Oh, this is like some random person I met at a bar one day.
I'm dead.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
So it would be random as fuck.
yeah, because you don't like any of these. I'm dead. I'm dead. Wait, hold on. How many freaking things has he posted?
He's post 83 posts.
Do it. Start. Here. Hold on.
Oh my gosh,
Take
I
it.
have to do that?
Yep.
That's crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
All right, one.
What?
My thumb hurts. No.
So Bennett, let us know if he responds.
I will.
Okay.
So that's a fun game. If you guys have any suggestions for that game, for social
Dares.
media,
Yeah.
definitely write
Send
us
your dares.
on Instagram at ResilientAF3. Are you okay, Amelia?
No, it's just that shot. It like
She's
hit
over
me.
there taking shots.
I am. And no one's joining me.
Not today.
It's a Monday morning.
That's the best time to do it.
I mean, you know what they say.
It's
5 o'clock somewhere.
Moving right along. So now it is that time of the week where we have our special guest on to share their resilience stories. So
Yes.
this week is going to be Amelia's mom.
My mama.
Mama Jackson.
The real
Yes.
Miss Jackson.
Welcome, Miss. Oh, the real.
The real.
The real
real.
Miss Jackson.
Yeah.
Please
first.
stand up.
first. The OG.
How would you want to be introduced?
You know what? Pretty much many of Amelia's friends call me Mama J or Mama Jackson.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
right on par.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here, Mama Jackson, and thank you for sharing your story. So
Yeah.
before we start, though, her story is going to be about sexual abuse. So I want to just put just a content warning right now. If it's like a trigger warning. If anybody doesn't want to hear these stories, then I would recommend just to kind of fast forward through the podcast until we're done with this. Otherwise, if you're still here, thanks for still being here. And I'm going to hand the mic over to you and let you tell us your story.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. I will have to say that this is actually the very first time that I have told my story to somebody who was outside of my family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. You have a lot of courage to tell your story, and thank you for feeling safe around us to do so.
I was thinking about the name of your guys' podcast, obviously. Resilience comes in all shapes and sizes. And when you guys asked me to come on, I was like, oh gosh. Like when I say outside of my family, we've got close friends that you consider family, right? And so I've probably just a handful of people have heard my story, and I was like, I don't know how that's going to feel to talk about it to complete strangers. But then I thought to myself, it's really interesting because I'm 58 years old. And when I was growing up, this was not a subject that you spoke about. It was taboo. There were things that were spoken about in polite company, and sexual abuse was definitely not one of those things, especially when that abuse was coming from inside the house, right?
Right.
I'm not going to name my abuser, but I will say that it was a close person, so it wasn't like I could escape it. And there was no real words to talk about it. There was really no safe place to talk about it. I couldn't really escape it, for one thing.
Do you have any siblings? And also, how old were you?
It started when I was about 11 years old. It was a secret that I was forced to keep, and it started small, as things like this do. It didn't happen all at one time, but it would progress further on, and it became more violent as time went on. And I was forced to find places in my home to hide, and I always had to have an escape plan. And it didn't matter what time of the day, night, didn't matter. It was one of those places where you always say that you can go home, you've got a safe place to lay your head. And as a parent, that was what I wanted to provide for my children. And my husband and I have sought to do that as parents, but I didn't have that. And I always was so jealous. I would see my friends, and you don't know what's going on inside of somebody else's home, right? So what I perceived as going on with other people, it quite possibly may not have, but I just thought there is no way that anybody else is going through what I'm going through, because it doesn't happen. And for some reason, it's happening to me. And I'm not going to say like, oh, I thought I felt I deserved it because I knew I didn't deserve it. You know, there was something, and nobody told me, oh, you don't deserve this. Because again, you didn't talk about it. You know, this was not the generation today that you guys just speak out and you say when things are not right. You know, the Me Too movement, there were so many people in my life growing up that I knew that had been sexually assaulted when we went to college. You know, my first like real experience happened in college as a rape, you know, and there were so many people that had that same experience, but you didn't talk about that either.
And a lot of people don't talk about it because they don't think people will believe them.
Or the shame.
The
shame, right.
shame is a huge thing. And I will say that was part of what, you know, really stuck with me. I felt so much shame from what was going on. And that's a lot of burden for a child to hold. Like,
That's a long time too to carry that burden. You said like from age 11, and then you were keeping the secret until you graduated from high
and
school.
I didn't even, so the day of graduation, I kept it.
Damn.
During this time when you went to school, when you were hanging out with your friends, were you acting in some type of way where
I was engaged in absolutely every activity under the sun at school because that was my safe place. And I forced myself to be in absolutely everything. Pick me, I will do that.
That's just so sad.
Yeah.
so instead of like I was gonna ask like did your grades go down?
Oh God,
Were
no.
you, like,
Oh no.
being bad in school?
No, I couldn't because
total opposite.
Oh, 100%. I straight A's. I was perfection.
Yep.
And everybody
That's what they-
expected perfection from me.
That's what they say. It's either perfection or
Or-
it's the complete
Yep.
opposite.
Yeah, there's no in between.
What about other people that were around you?
I was just
Family
going to ask
members?
that. Yeah. Did nobody, you don't think anybody had any idea of what was going
I
on?
believe that my mother knew.
Okay.
I hear this all
Mm-hmm.
the time, and I you know when these things go down within the family, a lot of times adults turn the other way or they don't want to discuss it because
It's
the
hard.
shame
It's
or
ugly.
It's ugly,
I
you
still,
know.
as a mother, if I knew somebody, I don't care who it is, was doing something to my child, I don't know, but I've heard a lot of mothers say the same thing who are my age, and I'm like, why were it hasn't been that long since that generation. I don't feel like it's like that anymore.
No,
It's not.
absolutely
no, not
not.
at all.
But
No.
I mean, we're still empathetic mothers, right? It's like we're still human. Like, how are mothers so okay with just turning the eye compared to now? Why?
I will say, and I'm not excusing it because I would not do that. I'll cut a bitch. Like,
yeah.
you know, when you said something to her about, and somebody said something about, I was like, give me the name. I am there. I'm going to.
That's why she takes it so
Nobody says
personally.
anything about my girl, right? I believe that my mother also suffered at the hands of a family member. And my mom grew up, she had a really, really sad start to life. She was raised by her grandparents and loved her grandparents dearly, and they worshiped the ground she walked on. But there was a member in her family people said not great things about, and they didn't want him around. And I believe that this person hurt my mother, and she would never talk about
Oh
it.
no, never.
Never talk about it.
Never. No.
Because again, definitely in that generation, you didn't speak of it.
Right. Is your mom still alive?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there were just things that, you know, she kept to herself. And I think that, you know, really hard stuff, when you suffer trauma, for one thing, as a child, right, you learn how to keep stuff bottled up inside, and she did. And so then she had pictured in her head, because she did not have that perfect family life, she had pictured in her head this perfect family. When it didn't happen, she didn't know how to deal with that. You know, my mom, I believe that my mom knew, and you will never be able to convince me otherwise, but it was just something that she couldn't go there. It was too hurtful.
When did it stop?
When I left home and never went back again,
How old was that? How old were you?
I was in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You were
I was gonna
18?
say, so you never went back.
I would go back and visit, but not but I knew that person wasn't going to be around.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's still very hard, like, because it brings you back to, I always say, you know, I go back to being like a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old girl, and it triggers me. It's really, really hard. And for the longest time, it took a long time for my husband to understand why.
And it's still for me. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but even for me, like, I don't have a great relationship with those people because when she finally told me, I was like maybe 16, 15 or something. I was older when she finally told me, and I stopped fucking with them. She may have forgiven
a bad
them.
relationship. It's just a distant.
It's a distant relationship.
Yeah, you just don't
And
really care to
I
probably
don't
have a
exactly
relationship
because
with
to me, like,
right? You allowed it on,
they
you know, and like
kind of,
it causes a lot of issues. I was gonna ask, have you told your mom?
Yes. Okay. So I started going through therapy off and on, like when I went to college. But I would get in there, and it's like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, I don't.
It's like a chore having to talk about
and,
that stuff.
And also, like, why do I want to relive that? And I have trauma brain. I'll talk with my friends from high school, and they'll be like, well, remember blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
no.
Nope. Did that
Was I
actually
there?
happen? Was I
Yeah.
there? Exactly. So going to therapy was not my favorite thing. And so I would stop. So I'd go a couple of times, and then I would stop. And then it's not like they reach out to you. They're not chasing after you, right? So I wouldn't go back again. And then Amelia was probably about 2 years old, and she had slept in our bed from the time she came home from the hospital. She never slept in her crib. I had this whole
Was it when you had me? Was it hard because I was a girl?
Oh,
and was it?
You were born on that person's birthday.
Was I?
I've never told you that.
Was I really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I wanted to hold you inside or have you earlier because you were born on that person's birthday.
Wait,
That's
is that person still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Whoa.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're a Virgo.
Yeah.
Virgo men are the absolute
Disgusting.
worst. I'm sorry if you're a
Disgusting.
Virgo man listening.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But having a daughter,
Yeah.
were you, because like,
Well, that's
for
why you
me-
slept in my bed.
Okay, yeah.
Because
Because
I
for
could
me,
protect
at
you.
least with a daughter, and I didn't go through any childhood trauma or anything like that. My trauma was later on in life. But like for me, like I was very protective over my daughter, and I did not want, even though I had been with a person for a long time, whatever, I didn't want him near her at night, like things like that. Like,
See, when
is that something that you dealt with?
I think that a lot of my stuff, I was talking to my other daughter earlier tonight, and she said, make sure that you tell him that I couldn't wear tampons because
Yeah.
of you. And,
Yep.
and
She wouldn't let us wear tampons.
Why?
it
Because
was,
of toxic shock?
no, because of my abuse.
Really?
We're so protected.
Yeah. It was too personal. It was too invasive. And I didn't.
There was
Not even for like, did you? Obviously, you didn't.
Never.
You didn't use them either.
Never.
So you didn't use tampons.
No.
Neither did your
Nope.
daughters.
So I didn't start using tampons until I was 18 when I was a night ballerina. And there's a story that I traumatized my mom. I'm like fairly certain I traumatized her.
Many things you've done have traumatized me. Thankfully, I have trauma brain, so I don't remember a
So she
lot of
forgets.
them.
But this one I know sticks with her because you didn't want us to wear tampons growing up because
I
know,
just didn't want to talk about it.
it
I
was
just couldn't
rough.
do it.
Yeah, of course. So I had come home one night and I had cut my string a little too short and I couldn't get the tampon out of me because it was stuck inside of me. And I was like, I need my fucking mom right now. Like, I need you to help me. And she, poor thing, I feel bad now. I needed her to look up inside me and try and she's like, nope, we're going to the ER. Like, I can't do this because like literally she can't deal with that kind of stuff.
No.
It's invasive. And so, so I apologize. I couldn't be there for you during your time of need, but we
okay.
did get
The
it
doctor-
taken care
Yeah,
of.
and he said you wouldn't have been able to get it out of me
Wait, it was
anyway.
that far up
It
you?
was that fucking
Stop
far up
it,
in me.
because I'm confused why it was that far up in you.
I don't know.
It's Amelia. Come on.
It's on
all I gotta
brand.
say.
It's on brand.
It's totally on brand for her.
what were the benefits and the changes when you started to go therapy?
When Amelia was about 2 years old, I started going to therapy with this woman, and my husband had taken Amelia to go visit his family, and so they were gone. And while they were gone, I went to my therapy appointment, and somehow it got on the subject of Amelia co-sleeping with us. And she said, she sleeps with you every night. And I'm like, yeah, she sleeps with us every night. Like, that's what babies are supposed to do. She's like, she needs her own bed. No, children do not sleep alone. Like, they sleep with their parents. But I was doing it because I felt that was a protection for her. Nothing
doing
could
it out of
get to her.
anxiety.
Yes, nothing could get to her if she was sleeping in between my husband and myself. And this therapist was like, no, she's 2. She needs her own bed, and you need her to get out of your marital bed. And I went out and I bought this little toddler bed, and I got it all set up, and they come home and I'm like, monkey girl, look at this great bed. And I'm like, look at your room, and you're going to be a big girl, and you're going to sleep in this bed. No.
Yes, fuck no.
Yes, you're going to sleep in here, and you're going to love it. Oh, she cried and cried and cried. And I don't even know. She could have been 5 by the time she was sleeping in her own bed. Like, she slept with me forever. But
well, I even slept with you when I was pregnant. I was 17 and pregnant, and I still slept in my not in their bed, because I had a belly at that point, and that's weird. But I slept on the floor of their bed, on the end of their bed.
So
cute or really bad.
I so cute. What a weirdo.
18-year-old, 17-year-old. Your mama.
And pregnant.
Yeah. That's even cuter. Oh, you're 17 and pregnant.
Sleeping on the floor.
All the babies.
Same.
See, clearly I didn't protect her enough because she was 17 and pregnant, right?
Same.
Yeah. So, no. So anyway, I kept going back and forth to therapy. And then I finally went to this one guy, and my husband and I were going to counseling together. And we were talking about my, experiences growing up. And my therapist said, well, have you ever told your parents? And I said, well, I've told them, around the subject, but I could never say the words, right, when I was growing up. Well, so then he was like, well, you need to say it. And I go, I couldn't possibly do that. Like, it will be so hurtful. And he's like, no. He goes, you need to write a letter, and you don't need to send it, but you need to say it. Well, I thought the bravest thing that I've ever done in my life was I actually sent that letter. And 2 weeks goes by, and I don't get a response. And then I finally get a response, and it says, we've read your letter, and we need to think about some things. And I broke it down. I didn't say every hurtful thing in there that I could have about the experiences, but I told them a lot of what happened, and this is what I went through, and you didn't believe me, and you chose to turn a blind eye, and blah, blah, blah. And well, then Mother's Day came up, and I still hadn't heard back from them. And so it was like 1-800-Flowers or something like that. I sent my mom flowers for Mother's Day, and my dad was like, so you couldn't send a card? And I was like, what? I sent a beautiful bouquet of flowers. You could have sent a card. And I was like, and this is why I don't have a good relationship with you. But I've worked on that. I've worked on it because I feel like forgiveness for me, if I don't have forgiveness in my heart, that's a burden that I'm going to carry for the rest of my life.
It's actually such a good thing that you brought that up, because as much as you, like, if someone has a hard time forgiving somebody or something, like, so important to do in order to evolve as a person. And people don't understand, like, it just sounds so surface level, but like, you really need forgiveness in your heart.
I totally agree with you on that. Just to come out on the other side, if I didn't have that forgiveness, and I can't say for my abuser, but I do forgive my parents. I have to. For myself, and I feel at the end of time, when it's their time to go, like, that's not my burden to carry, and I can't carry that burden. I hope that I don't want anybody to carry that burden. But going back to the whole thing about therapy, if you're going through something like this, now in today's world, the way that we can speak freely about things, find a good therapist. Really, you've got to talk about it. It's the only way. You've got to bring it out from under the bush. You've got to bring it to light, because otherwise you carry that deep inside of yourself. You carry that shame, you carry that hurt,
Guilt.
And you're never going to get rid of it if you don't say it out loud. And coming here tonight and speaking about this, to your podcast listeners, I feel even more of a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders.
I love that.
It's important to speak about it because it wasn't my fault that it happened.
Right.
Absolutely.
And people do, they carry a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, and don't think people are going to believe them. So by you sharing your story is going to help people feel, and they're going to be more empowered to say something if something like this happens. And, just because you are speaking about it, and which is where the world is going. So again, thank you for sharing your story.
Again, I'm just going to say it was a very different time. The things in your past, they tend to...
Do you think that person was sexually assaulted?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I believe that, and I know who would have done it. That, a babysitter.
Oh, you think a babysitter
I know.
did that?
I know a babysitter.
You know
did
a
it.
babysitter did it.
This babysitter babysat us from the time we were little.
Mm-hmm.
It was a woman and a man, and he was older than her, like way older. And we were out at a Pizza Hut one time, and my mom got really upset, and she got into the car and she was mad. And she said, how dare she say that about him? He's such a nice man. To this day, if you say to me, he's such a nice man, because that was a term that she used for many people in our lives that were not such a nice man. So she said, how dare she say that about him? He's such a nice man. And she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to my dad. And she told my dad that the wife, she hadn't seen her for a long time because, she had run away with the Tupperware salesman. And how dare she get a divorce from her husband because he was such a nice man, right? She told me that he did things to the children.
Oh,
And she said, how dare she say that about him? He was such a nice man.
fucking delusional. Like, oh
I feel
my
like that's
God.
like so avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yep.
no. He can't be,
But let's go back and remember that my mother was not raised by her father, and she was essentially abandoned by her father. So
So
were
men, she wanted that.
She needed that.
Male attention.
Yep.
Daddy issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's just trauma,
It was
how,
trauma.
Like,
God,
how trauma
that-
just like
yeah.
gets passed down and passed
And it's a
down.
Trauma
sick
begets
cycle.
trauma.
Mhm.
Trauma begets trauma.
Yep. Yeah.
So I tried hard not to traumatize my children, but I know that I did things that, probably I could have done a lot better.
I think it was just helicopter parenting.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's honestly, that's all it was. And like, it's
Clearly
really
not enough since you got pregnant when you were 17.
That's true.
Maybe that's why that helicopter was out for service.
you left me alone for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have
well,
done that.
Exactly. Yeah.
From your story, what does resilient mean to you?
I think that it means not forgetting what has caused you to become resilient, but using it to better yourself and to hopefully help other people become resilient as well. Surviving, I'm not going to say I'm a survivor. I'm not going to say I was a victim. I'm just going to say I grew, and yeah, I'm resilient. Like, I don't think there's pretty much anything you can throw at me. That's not an invitation to the universe to throw something at me, but I'm just saying, I've come out on the other side. And I think that if you can come out on the other side and still be successful in your own right, and success comes in many different forms. Louis Vuitton boots, that's very successful to me, and I would love to have a closet full of those. But success comes in all forms, and if you can come out on the other side and be successful and try to help other people, then you're resilient.
Not
Oh, I
forgetting.
love that. I love that.
Well, you
Because a lot of
can't.
times people
You
try to say,
can't
like,
forget.
don't forget it,
Mhm.
or trauma brain,
Mm-hmm.
But part of being resilient is being able to recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, this is what happened. and This is how I move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that you did a good job with not continuing the trauma. When you had kids, you wanted to protect your kids.
You have to break that cycle.
Yeah.
You have to, and you have to work at breaking that cycle, because there's a lot of stuff that we carry throughout the generations, and it's
Without even knowing it.
yeah. With most people don't do stuff like that on purpose. It
Yeah.
just happens.
I think one thing that you do by not even meaning to sometimes. And this is just saying, no, listen. So like her dad, he used to, if she was like, because she had really bad periods growing up, right? And he would tell her like, oh, just take a shower and drink some orange juice.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So like
that was for
her-
everything.
That was for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, she could be dying.
I had a
Take a
bone
shower?
sticking out. Take a shower and drink some orange
Yeah.
juice. You'll feel better.
And something that she has done like growing up with us is, and it's not that saying, but she'll say, well, you're a Jackson girl. You'll get
You're a
over it. You're a
Jackson.
Jackson
Yeah.
girl, you know? And that's something that like, and I've even started doing that with my kids. And now I think about it, I'm like, wait,
Oh, and that
no,
sucks.
no.
And I
like,
apologize because
no,
you shouldn't.
it's fine.
No,
but
really,
it has
you
made me
shouldn't.
strong, though. It really, truly has.
But you shouldn't do that, and you have to be okay with some days. Being a Jackson girl means taking a mental health day, or
crying it out.
crying it out.
And that's
Yeah.
something that
Even
I've
resilience has a toll.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It does
Yeah.
very much so. And that's
Yeah.
something that I've learned, but that's how she grew up, and that's not.
But you stood up to that the other day, and I was actually really proud of you. I was out of town all week for work, and her daughter was not feeling well, and she gets this cough like all the time. Like you look at her wrong, and she's like, "I don't feel good," and she doesn't. Like she truly didn't feel good. And my husband was like, let's put a mask on her, and I was like, yeah, let's put a mask on her. Look for a mask. Let's send her to school. And Amelia's like, I would be really pissed if somebody sent their kid to school and they weren't, and she didn't have a fever, and it's not like she has COVID
Yeah,
or anything.
she
She just wasn't feeling good.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, you're right. Why am I sending this child to school? And I'm just like, gotta get to school.
Yeah.
She can't miss a day of school, and it's like, she's not feeling well. So how good is school going to be for her if she's there?
She wouldn't even
so
focus.
I was actually, I forgot to tell you that you stood up to that, and I was actually really proud of you, because I was like, I mean, I'm not trying to make the next generation all lazy, but it was good. And she crocheted that whole day. She made that.
See, she did something.
It was like, no, she did.
Yeah.
She did. It
That's
was like
great.
12 feet long, a 12-foot long chain of crochet.
Yeah.
But she did it for
she
3
can make
hours.
a fucking
but
blanket.
Yeah.
She's great.
Put them up on Etsy.
Yeah. Go
Exactly.
businesswoman.
Started a business. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I mean, like for real, talking about that is so courageous because it's very difficult. And I've had people tell me about their experiences, and it was very difficult for them to tell me. Thank you.
Being resilient.
Yes.
Resilient AF.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, thanks for having me.
Now it's the conspiracy time. Ooh. What does Joe Biden, Kanye West, and Britney Spears all have in common?
Mental health issues.
No.
No.
I mean, that's
That would
right.
be-
But that's
But that's not the answer I'm looking for.
Oh, okay.
I
Sorry.
mean, it might be true, but yes, but no.
Oh
they're famous.
no.
They're clones.
They're actually all dead.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I know Britney
Bennett?
Spears. She's gone.
Yeah, Bennett,
She's been gone
Bennett,
for
Bennett,
a while.
Bennett. This is gonna be. You guys are gonna.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
You guys are gonna fall off your rocking chair after I explain something.
I'm not on a rocking chair.
I'm talking to our guests who are listening. Okay, where do I start? I'm just gonna really talk about Britney, to be honest. Back where Bennett and I used to work was when Britney was coming out of her conservatorship. So the Free Britney movement was a big thing, but when I first started, it wasn't that big yet. So it was starting to get big, and at that time, everybody who knew Britney, who didn't really know what was going on, didn't know how bad it was. They also kind of made fun of her. And I was kind of like, whatever. And like when I was like making fun of her a little bit, even though I love Britney, Bennett was like, absolutely not.
Like, we cannot do
Like
this.
that was one thing where he was like,
He drew the
I was
line
like,
there.
oh wow, he actually is a really big Britney fan, right?
Leave Britney alone.
No, it was for real. So I knew. And
Not
then
that
I grew up with
big.
Britney. I love Britney. But I thought Britney was crazy because of what the tabloids said and yada, yada, yada. So she gets out of her conservatorship. And this is where it gets super interesting because she's gone through unimaginable things. And she would post these videos on her social media where it would be just her talking and it would be black. Like there'd be, just a black screen, her talking. And she did this for months and she would be posting them often, and some would be really long, some would be short, but she'd be discussing what she went through, who did what, just calling people out, talking shit about people. I was floored that she was talking about some of these things and feeling safe to, because it was Britney. You could tell by her voice. You could tell by her voice. And she was being for real. She was breaking it down. She held nothing back. There were times where she would release a 20-minute video and me and Bennett went into like a conference room and listened to it together.
Really?
And it wasn't even for
She went to court. Yeah.
it wasn't even for like a segment that we were doing. It was because we genuinely just wanted
Yeah,
to listen to it, and
we're
we listened to
interested.
it. It was insane. It was insane, the things that she was posting, and then all of a sudden,
It
no more.
stops.
Let me just say, her wedding with Sam. I thought Sam was bad vibes from the moment I saw his face on social media.
Yeah.
and then
He has
someone.
dead eyes.
Oh my god, he's an evil soul.
Yeah, and his head
28
shape's weird.
years
they're
old.
Yeah, no, when their head shape is weird and like off. No. I'm so serious. Like
Reptilian.
if you notice the people in your life that are shady and fucked up, look at their head shape.
They got a
You can
weird
tell by a person. Yes, they have
scary.
a weird head. Telling you every
So-
single time.
I never liked Sam. And then they got married right after that. And that whole wedding was shady. And then she was going to move and then she didn't. And all she posts on social is her in the same place in her house, dancing around, doing weird moves. Those moves are not Britney's moves. I'm sorry.
No, she looks like she can't dance for
And
shit.
that girl used to freaking
Right.
dance.
She can dance.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just weird videos. And it's the same videos. And it's not Britney. You can tell, like, her face, her teeth are not the same, period. Teeth can change, yes, but they're not even the same. They have gaps in between every single tooth, and
Yep.
she never used to have gaps, and they're different shape. She doesn't look well. It doesn't look like her. I mean, I think it's a clone for sure.
So I've been following the Britney movement for a while, and I don't know if she's a clone or not. Like, I've been watching closely, but since she left the conservatorship, things have been weird. And the videos that she posts up daily, it's like the same video over and over. And it's like, if you are free, why aren't you posting new content? So
Yeah.
a lot of people think that she is a clone.
But they did a really bad
they-
job because it doesn't look like her.
Right.
But maybe it's drugs.
I don't know. See, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
I feel like when I have thoughts in my head about things that happen to someone, I've just learned to trust my intuition and my gut because I've seen things pan out to like be true so many times, even as of like the last few years for sure. So when I had the thought that she's not here anymore, I'm like, why would I be having that thought? Right? It's like, I just feel like
Like a
it's
premonition.
It's like guides telling me, you know?
Well, do you remember I think it was during COVID time, when people would be like, if you need help, wear pink, or if you need help, wear yellow and stuff like that. And then the next
did it.
video,
Yes, she did
she
a
would
lot.
be doing that. And then all of a sudden,
that's-
all of that.
But that was during the
It was.
That was during-
conservatorship.
yes,
so we
that's
thought
true.
it would end after
But-
the fact.
She, even during the conservatorship, like everything was monitored so they could see what she was doing. But then also after the conservatorship, she was still in like a contract that people wouldn't talk about. She still wasn't completely out of like a conservatorship. It was
Right.
don't
And
even-
people still don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Her dad's dying though.
well, karma. It'll get you.
Her
I
dad
feel like
is dying
her
right now, yeah.
and that bitch Jamie Lee Spears. First off, I'm mad at her because of Zoe 101. She had to get pregnant, so they had to fucking stop the show, which I was pissed about, even though I was 17 and pregnant. So
Oh, she was just on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
She wa-
And
I don't
everybody
like her.
was so happy. Like all the Britney Spears fans were so happy.
which
she
is
got sent home.
crazy
Yeah.
to me. Oh,
she got
yes,
sent
they were
home.
that she got sent home.
Yeah.
Yes, because she was a horrible person when it came to her sister.
yeah,
Like
she's nasty.
absolutely disgusting.
She hasn't said anything this whole time. While
Which
Britney
why
was in the
would she? Because
conservatorship.
she's getting paid.
Hello,
Everybody got thrown money to shh.
everyone.
Yep.
Hush.
Yep.
And a lot of people went along with it. And if
Yeah.
you didn't, they probably died.
There's so many. I was just
And turn them into a clone. And she has a song that she tried to release a song, and one of the lyrics is "I've been cloned."
Ah, hell
Oh.
no.
And like she brought it to the radio stations, and they
Oh.
played it once, and then after that, her label scrapped the whole thing.
really.
Mm-hmm. There's a music video where she's like running through a factory full of Britney Spears clones.
What?
So, yeah.
Oh, and also another person that had spoke on it saying that Britney is dead. Like she literally went out and said it. Mind you, you got to take it with a grain of salt because I think she is on a meth. But she's an actress for Orange is the New Black. She was
say that?
on Instagram Live. And she was saying, you guys are stupid for believing that Britney's still alive. Because she did Crossroads with her. Taryn Manning.
Okay.
Yeah, so she knows Britney. She had said, she was like, no, Britney is dead. Like, you guys are idiots for believing that she's still alive. This is not Britney. She is a clone now. But also Taryn Manning is going off the deep end a little bit. But
They did a bad job. Also, look at Kanye. Kanye does not look like Kanye.
did you see his booty? in one of the fucking pictures. I'm like, did he get a BBL? Like,
Right?
and he got taller.
It doesn't look like him.
It doesn't.
And like it just doesn't look like Britney.
I've been trying to figure out what's going on because there's so much conspiracy around Britney Spears. It's like, I don't know if she's dead, if she's a clone, if she's mentally ill. Like,
It sounds
it's
like
been a lot.
in the videos though, like the person is trying to sound like Britney.
I don't know. I think it could be either yes, she's not here anymore and it's a clone. I do think that is it's 50-50 for me. Or it could be bipolar and it could be drugs on top of that. But then it's like she looks different, she sounds different. So
Could be
why
drugs.
and it could be drugs though.
And
And
now
all-
it's just a little too shady.
It was she was talking so much shit and then all of a sudden nothing.
They probably didn't like that. You know, they
she was
didn't want
ruthless.
her to, yeah. I mean, and honestly, if you think about it, that was not part of the brand. Like it didn't fit with the brand, her
No.
talking like that.
Absolutely
so they
not.
needed to shut that shit down. So maybe they did.
She would talk about all the abuse that went on over the years. A lot about her dad, her mom, her sister, all her friends who weren't her friends, how she never got to go out. How-
Details. Yeah.
details. And she was speaking and she was not
And it was clear. Like it was, it
Like, she was
sounded.
It was her testimony at court.
she was with it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even just at court. It was all the other short ones that she would be at home probably, right? Just
Yeah.
like busting out her phone, posting 3 to 5 minute videos talking about her stories.
See, and I'm just like, okay.
Same
if-
thing with Kanye, by the way.
Oh, Kanye, I think he's a fucking genius, to be honest. I'm one of those people. I think he's a genius. I don't think this is the real Kanye right now. But going back to Britney, I don't know. I feel like it could be those one of two things. But also, if she was doing those, what were they? Broadcasts? No. Instagram lives? What were they?
They were just like posts.
Oh,
Like it was like a
posts.
video of her talking and then she uploaded the video and it was just black screen and her talking.
See, again, if she's doing that and her dad is seeing that or her managers, whatever, they're going to want to shut that down and they're not going to want her to talk like that anymore. And if they can't continue to control her, they're probably either going to fill her with drugs so she stops getting on the internet and talking too much, or B, they're going to offer.
replace
maybe
it with a
that's-
clone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't put anything past her dad.
And I mean, he's got money. He's got lots of money. So
I read that her mom is like struggling with money, which is weird to think about. It's like you have Britney Spears as your daughter over all these years and you didn't do anything shady. Yeah, right. She's got to have money.
Right.
See, the thing is to me is that like doesn't surprise me though that she doesn't have money, because I feel like it was a very weird situation with the dad, Jamie Lynn Spears, and with Britney Spears. Like I feel like it was such a weird relationship, especially between Jamie and the dad. So it doesn't surprise me that the mom got left out of everything, which I mean, rightfully so.
But then the videos Britney was talking about, no, my mom wants to act like she's innocent and everything. Fuck that. My mom ain't innocent. And she would talk about her mom because she acts innocent and acts like she's, a victim. And she tried to help Britney and all this stuff. Britney's like, nope, don't do that, mom. Nope. You were in on it just like they were.
Oh,
But her
Why
father
would-
is way more controlling and of course the money handler and all of that. So they're not together anymore, right? So he probably doesn't like his ex-wife and doesn't want her to have any money. So he probably did do something to not have her get any money.
probably.
She doesn't deserve it. He doesn't either.
I mean, they were all hush hush the whole time. So
It's just surprising that she doesn't have her own bank account with like at least money to survive.
well, you can't have that
You
when you're
can't have that.
the mom.
The mom.
She probably blew it though,
Yeah.
to be honest, because she thought that cash cow was never going to run dry, So like, why
But then
would
you'd still be set
you?
with property. But she's struggling to even pay her bills, is what I read.
Or maybe they're just putting that out to paint a narrative.
Yeah, exactly, because
So
I
who
can't trust
knows?
anything they say. And TMZ, I feel like is so in on it, and I feel like TMZ is they've been really posting a lot of Britney about how she's been out and doing all this stuff, and I don't believe it. I believe that TMZ is getting paid a lot of money to say that Britney's alive, to show these videos of her out in public and that she's there.
Okay, let's say Britney is alive. Why is she not doing shows anymore? Why is she not?
She doesn't want to.
She's saying she
Well, she
doesn't
quit.
want
She
to.
said she didn't want to.
She said that she wasn't gonna do any more shows while she was still in the conservatorship until her father was no longer her conservator or that she was in the conservatorship. So she quit doing shows. She got out of it. And she still hasn't done any, but I also feel like there's something that's still binding. There is.
Oh, there has to be. I mean, there
So-
has to be some sort of.
She's-
I'm
she's like,
sure
I'm not
there's
making any
some
more money.
sort of shady contract still going on that maybe the conservatorship ended, but there's something
There is.
still between them.
There is. And it's the dad and like managers and people. And
See, that's so evil.
It is. And so she's like, I'm not making any more money.
They basically, he wanted, to me, what it seems like is he wanted like a racehorse, you know? Like when he had Brittany, he was like, this is my chance. I'm a fucking loser, so I can't do anything. I have zero talent, so I'm going to make sure my daughter makes money for us. And he treated her as if she was a racehorse. Yeah, and a narcissist. He's a narcissist for sure. But that's crazy to me.
Yeah. If Brittany didn't post those videos and me hear her stories and her voice and how she was talking, I wouldn't know. Really, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have my thoughts about what I think is going on as much as I do if I didn't hear those. So when I realized that she wasn't posting those videos anymore, and then it was like a long time she wasn't posting online, her page would go missing, it'd not be there many times. She wasn't seen out in public for a long time. And then all of a sudden when she started popping back up, it wasn't her. It wasn't her.
It was like
Didn't look like Brittany to me.
some hybrid or something. It's just, I don't know what to believe with Brittany because there's just so many stories and so much shadiness going on. So I won't say like I don't think it's a clone, but also, you know, I wouldn't, like, there's just so many things you could throw against the wall, and I'd be like, I don't know, but it's definitely shady. And her book's coming out, The Woman in Me, October 24th, and I'm definitely going to get it.
Yeah, me too. Well, we want to hear what you think is going on with Brittany, so hit us up on Instagram at ResilientAF3. Let us know what your thoughts are. Do you think she's dead? Do you think she's alive? Do you think that she's on drugs? Do you think she's not? Do you think that she's still being handled? I don't know. You know, let us know. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We hope you have an amazing week.
Oh, shouldn't we read comments this week?
Yeah, we forgot.
While she's looking for that, I'll go over what we're going to talk about next week. Of course, our peak and our pit. We're going to do a word of the week. We're also going to add on to the word of the week. When we say the word during the podcast, whoever can message us first with the exact time, we're going to send you a bottle of champs.
Hey, so once you say it,
So if I say it or Amelia says it,
the first person when the words drop.
the first time that it's dropped by either me or Amelia, whoever messages us first with the correct time will win a free bottle of champagne.
Ooh,
listen.
a free headache. There you go.
Headache in a bottle.
Yes.
Of course, we're going to have a guest for their resilient story. So we're going to have this guy named Ben Robinson on. He's going to talk to us about his addiction and his struggles and why he's resilient from the addiction of Ritalin and crack cocaine. And we will wrap it up with my conspiracy. Amelia, have you found the comment yet?
I had to skip over a couple comments, but I absolutely love the podcast and all the hosts. Alex is so soothing to hear back on the radio and hilarious. Bennett is such a great storyteller and also hilarious. And Amelia is so funny / interesting and loved her night ballerina story.
Aw,
We
thank
love
you.
that.
We need to have another night ballerina story.
Yes.
We do.
For real, next week, maybe we should do that.
Yes.
Put that in the menu.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that.
All right, think about it. All right, y'all. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. We are at ResilientAF3. You can follow me individually. I'm at That Dreas.
I'm at Emilia Jackson 94.
And I'm at Bennett Knows.
Bye.
Later.
Have a great week.